Welcome to a deep dive. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a really fascinating story. It's the intertwined history of two major Japanese bands, Lazy and, well, Loudness.
Yeah, it's quite a tale. We've got, a good amount of source material, research notes, articles, basically tracking the journey of some key musicians who really shaped Japanese rock and metal.
Absolutely. So our mission really is to unpack how they started, how they changed, who was involved, and crucially, how one band sort of paved the way for the other.
It's a journey, all right, from like a manufactured pop group almost
Yeah,
to becoming these pioneering heavy metal giants. Quite the transformation.
definitely. So let's get into the material.
Let's do it.
Okay, so where does this whole story kick off? Our sources point us back to 1973. And the surprising thing is, the roots of what became a Loudness. Well, they weren't in some garage hammering out metal riffs. Not at all.
No, not initially. This is the foundation. Lazy's unexpected beginnings. It starts with three young classmates, Hironobu Kageyama, Hiroyuki Tanaka, and Akira Takasaki.
Right. And pretty quickly, they brought in drummer Munetaka Higuchi and Shunji Inoue on keyboards, also from their school.
And the name Lazy. Inspired by Deep Purple, actually, the song.
Which tells you something about their initial goal, right?
Yeah.
They wanted to play hard rock. That was the ambition.
Totally. But here's the twist.
Yeah, this is where it gets interesting. The sources really emphasize how much outside forces, managers and producers, kind of steered the ship early on.
They didn't just see a band. They saw, like, a product, a prototype for the Japanese idol scene that was blowing up.
So they basically molded them into this successful boy band targeting Japanese teens. They had monikers, specific costumes, the whole deal.
And those carefully crafted pop singles.
Exactly. That first single, Hey, I Love You, dropped July 25th, 1977, and it was not the hard rock they'd dreamed of playing.
Not even close. It was a very deliberate commercial move, driven purely by the business side.
Can you imagine? You're young, you're fired up about rock music, and the industry just goes, nope, you're pop idols now. What does that even do to you?
It's that age-old clash, isn't it?
Yeah.
Artistic vision versus, well, the market realities.
But, the sources show that wasn't the end of the story for their sound. Lazy did start to find that rock voice again.
Yeah, it was gradual, though. It really started picking up with their third album, Rock Diamond, back in '79.
Right.
They even recorded some of it in Hawaii.
And why was that album so key?
Well, because the band members themselves started writing and recording their own material on it. They were consciously pushing things towards a harder rock sound.
You can hear it starting to shift, maybe.
Definitely. Like heavier guitars creeping in, the rhythm section getting a bit punchier. It wasn't full-on metal yet, but, the seeds were there. They were laying the groundwork.
Then came their fourth album, Lazy V. Kept the rock vibe going.
Right, although, interestingly, the sources note it didn't feature band-written songs that time around.
But the intention was clear. By their summer tour in 1980, they were basically telling everyone, we're going hard rock.
Yeah, they declared it openly. No more hiding it.
And this whole push led to their final album, Earthark, which ironically turned out to be their best-selling one.
Came out late 1980, had that really striking artwork by Noriyoshi Orai.
Yeah.
And it was a direct result of them finally committing to that heavier sound. But sadly, it was also their last record together.
Which brings us right to the breakup and what came next. The sources say things wrapped up pretty soon after Earthark.
Yeah, they announced it amicably at a concert February 18th, 1981, and then officially disbanded a few months later, May 31st.
And the reason why? Well, the material we looked at suggests it wasn't just creative differences, it was more specific, tied to the pressures they were under.
Right. Munetaka Higuchi, the drummer, was the oldest, kind of the leader in practical terms. He was the one dealing with the management office, negotiating things like, where they lived, practical stuff.
And it seems that management, well, they didn't like him much.
Apparently not. There was even talk, according to the sources, of maybe kicking him out of the band.
Wow. But here's what's really telling. The members stuck together.
Exactly. Instead of just replacing Higuchi, they collectively decided, nope, if he goes, we all go. They all left the agency and essentially the band together.
That's quite something, isn't it? It wasn't internal fighting tearing them apart, but this conflict with management focused on one member.
And their loyalty to each other won out over the industry's demands. It's a fascinating insight into their dynamic.
So after the split, everyone went their own way. Some got into soundtrack work, others formed new bands, the usual post-breakup stuff.
But Lazy wasn't completely done. They did have later years. There was a reunion in 97, new album, tour.
Right, and then some intermittent projects after that.
Sadly, though, tragedy hit the band later. Hiroyuki Tanaka, the bassist, died from heart failure in 2006. He was only 46.
Such a loss. And then Munetaka Higuchi, the drummer, passed away too. November 30th, 2008, at age 49.
Yeah, really tough. But even after these losses, their music kept popping up. In 2009, they actually recorded a new version of Kanjit Night.
Oh, with Kageyama's other band, JM Project.
Exactly. You know, the anime theme song supergroup, they did it for an anime, called themselves Ultimate Lazy for Mazinger.
Ah, nice.
And then in 2011, they released another single, Reckless, for an animated film series.
Ah.
So yeah, the Lazy name and legacy definitely carried on.
And that legacy is directly tied into the birth of, well, a metal giant, Loudness.
Absolutely. Straight out of that Lazy experience, guitarist Akira Takasaki and drummer Munetaka Higuchi formed Loudness in Tokyo, 1981.
Now about the timing. The sources get a little fuzzy here, right? Some mention February 1980 regarding Loudness forming. Others point to the Lazy breakup announcement in Feb 81 and the official split in May 81.
Yeah, slight variations in accounts, which happens. The main point is clear. They were moving on from Lazy, ready for something totally new.
And their motivation seems pretty straightforward based on the material.
Oh yeah, Takasaki, Tanaka, Higuchi, they were just plain dissatisfied with Lazy's pop direction. They wanted to dive headfirst into proper heavy music.
They were inspired by what was happening in Japan at the time, right? Bands like Bow Wow, Anthem.
Exactly, that whole rising Japanese heavy metal movement. They wanted in.
Interestingly, though, Hiroyuki Tanaka, the bassist, didn't stick with the metal path for long.
No, he soon left this new group. The sources say he went off to focus on anime soundtracks with his own band, Neverland.
So Takasaki needed to fill out the lineup for Loudness?
Yep. He brought in Masayoshi Yamashita, a childhood friend, to play bass. And then for the singer, after holding auditions, they landed Minoru Naihara.
He was ex-Earthshaker, wasn't he? And still a student.
That's right, a university student at the time, so that was the lineup.
And Loudness was officially born. They signed with Nippon Columbia, a major label.
Pretty big deal. And their first album, The Birthday Eve, came out in November 1981.
And even though heavy metal wasn't exactly mainstream media darlings in Japan back then,
Right, and they didn't even release a single from it.
the album and the shows they played did well enough to get them noticed. People were listening.
And Takasaki's guitar playing. I mean, that was immediately a huge part of their identity.
Oh, yeah. The sources constantly mention his shredding, super fast, but still melodic, you know? Plus those heavy riffs.
Totally. Combined with that famously tight rhythm section, they carved out a sound really distinct from Lazy right from the start.
And they were working fast. 4 studio albums, boom, boom, boom.
Incredibly prolific. Takasaki even squeezed in a solo album, Tusk of a Jaguar, which also featured the other Loudness guys. Really cemented that sound.
But they weren't just thinking about Japan, were they?
Not at all. Ambition was high. In '83, after their third album, The Law of Devil's Land, they did their first U.S. tour.
And then they took an even bigger step, moved to Europe.
Yeah. Relocated to record album number 4, Disillusion. Played shows there too, which they documented on that Eurobounds video release.
And then, to really try and crack the international market,
They went back and re-recorded all the vocals for Disillusion in English.
wow.
That English version came out in 1984. It was their first album released outside Japan.
Just pause and think about that for a second. The sheer dedication, you change your sound completely, then you literally move continents and re-sing everything in another language just to chase that global success.
It's an incredible level of commitment. Serious guts.
And, you know, the sources show it paid off. Loudness really did break barriers.
Definitely. They're the first Japanese metal act signed to a major U.S. label. That's huge.
And albums like Thunder in the East, songs like Crazy Nights, those really hit in the U.S., didn't they? Capitalizing on that melodic metal sound.
Absolutely key to their U.S. success. Yeah. And the discography just kept growing. By 2014, was it 26 studio albums, 9 live albums.
Incredible output. And they charted 2 Billboard Top 100 in the U.S. during their peak, and loads of times on the Oricon charts in Japan.
And through all the lineup shuffles over the decades, Takasaki's been the one constant, the anchor.
Yeah, the driving force. But they did get that original lineup back together in 2000, which must have been amazing for longtime fans.
Huge moment. And they put out another 7 albums together in that configuration.
Until, tragically, as we mentioned earlier, Munetaka Higuchi passed away in 2008 from liver cancer.
Yeah, November 30th, 2008. Same date we noted from the Lazy history. Such a foundational part of their sound, his drumming.
Masayuki Suzuki stepped in on drums after that, keeping the band moving forward.
And when you look at the big picture, I mean, their longevity, their persistence, going after international markets so aggressively, surviving lineup changes, it's pretty remarkable. They really forged a path.
So wrapping this up, we've followed this amazing thread, haven't we? From Lazy's pop beginnings and their fight to become a rock band.
Through a breakup driven by management issues, not just music.
Right. To the birth of Loudness and their incredible international journey. Always highlighting Takasaki and Higuchi, those key figures.
And the sources really underscore a few things. That conscious choice to pursue the music they wanted to make, even as you're being pushed towards pop.
Yeah, the impact of those band relationships and those clashes with the business side.
And just the sheer raw dedication it took to break into the global scene.
Yeah.
Moving countries, re-recording, just wow.
So here's something to leave you thinking about. When you see the struggles Lazy had just to play the music they loved, facing that industry pressure, and then you see the massive effort Loudness put into conquering markets overseas, what does that tell us really about that balancing act, between staying true to your art and just dealing with the hard realities of the music business?
It's a constant tension, isn't it? Something every artist probably grapples with on some level. Definitely food for thought.